supporting the honesty. It is the victory of the good, and the all the evil energies get disappeared from our life, from our thoughts, and from our heart.
Voices to hear.
Hi everyone, welcome to Voices to Hear. I'm Lucille and today we are having Khevna. She's currently an Indian student in France and she will tell us more about the Indian Festival of Lights, also called Diwali. So thank you very much, Khevna, for accepting to be our guest today.
Thank you, Lucille. I'm happy to be here.
I lived in India for 2 years, and during my stay, I discovered that Diwali is the most awaited time of the year for most Indians. Diwali is actually one of the biggest celebrations worldwide. It is a 5-day long festival, mostly celebrated by Hindus and Buddhists. So during Diwali, Indians decorate their home with lamps and rangoli, which are colorful designs made on the floor with colored sand, powder, or flowers near the entrance to a house to welcome guests. Because more than anything, the Indian Festival of Lights is about family and celebrating togetherness. So Khevna, can you tell us when Diwali was this year?
This year in 2021, it took place in November, in the first week of November. So normally Diwali lasts from 5 days to 7 days in India.
Why do you celebrate it sometimes in October and sometimes in November?
So this is connected with the Hindu calendar. Normally the Western calendar is connected with the solar system. So lunar and solar are different ways. So it is like Earth rotating to the sun. And in India, it is like moon and the Earth, which is getting rotated. So the time is different. It is a different mathematical calculation of the calendar, which is considered in India.
From my understanding, when I was in India, Diwali is as important to Hindus as Christmas is actually to those who celebrate it in the world, like for most Christians and also French people, for example. So why do you exactly celebrate Diwali? Can you explain a bit the story behind it?
So it is a story which started 7,000 years ago when Lord Ram was coming to India after residing 14 years in the jungle of Sri Lanka. He was the king in one of the region in north called Ayodhya, and for his kingdom, for the welfare of his kingdom and the village and the part of that region, he went to the jungle for 14 years with his wife and his brother. He resided there, and it is India which is celebrating his welcome after 14 years of Vanvas. We say this is the word actually, Vanvas, and he is welcomed by every Hindu in India.
And why do you exactly light lamps on Diwali? Like I think when we say lamps, we talk about diyas in India, which is a kind of small candles, right? Maybe you can explain a bit what it is exactly.
So this was the question I asked to my mother once, like why we don't put just the candles and why we light diya with the natural oil. The oil we use is actually called as castor oil, which is very good for the skin and for the environment. And we use cotton block to put it in the castor oil. We put it inside the castor oil and we light it naturally all around the house or in the compound or sometimes on the terrace also. So it helps the environment, the surroundings to kill the insects or which is harmful for our health. So there is some kind of scientific reason also, and it is about welcoming Lord Ram also.
To your house and everywhere in India, I think.
Yes, everywhere in the temple or in the house also, or even outside also people does in the temple. They light the diyas everywhere.
Yes, and I think I would like to say that diyas are very different type of candle, that they have a shape, a kind of leaf or something similar. I don't know exactly what it represents.
It's like if you go and search in the market, you can buy different shapes of diyas. It's sometimes a leaf, sometimes a star with different colors and the decoration and very artistic. It's very, very nice, very beautiful.
Yeah, and so on Diwali, like I remember when I was in India, there are really like candles, diyas, and lights almost everywhere. And I think they even put small candles on the Ganga River and on the ghats and on the river sides of the Ganga and like everywhere. Like I think that India is really like shining on this day just to
Yes.
welcome
I think
the.
there are like a lot of photographs floating on the internet, especially during the time of Diwali, because at night, if you see, it's full of light from the sky.
Yeah. So can you tell me more things that you do on Diwali apart from lighting diyas or candles?
So there are some rituals we do in our house. We have some prayers to offer to Lord Rama, Lord Krishna, Lord Lakshmi, which is she is the goddess of fortune, and we also pray the goddess of education and the knowledge. We do some prayers to our, to the books which we are holding in our house. What we say in India is Vedas and Puranas, which we have since many years in our house. It's like ancestral books which we are having. So there are a lot of prayers inside the house with the family. We visit other family members also, friends. We just go and meet them. We prepare a lot of delicious food. There is no defined one kind of food in this festival, but it depends on the family, what you want to eat and what you want to prepare for your guests who will be arriving in your house during the Diwali, for the friends. And nobody goes out without having the food. If the guest is arriving, then he or she will have something to eat, and then only they can leave. They have to eat something.
Yeah, food is very important in India. And yeah, on Diwali, I remember that people share a lot of sweets and I think also some gift. Like people go to someone's place and they just offer some sweets or some gift, and of course it depends on the family. And I have also heard that on Diwali there are some people who just they have to wear like new clothes, and also they buy some new cutlery also. Is it true?
So there is a ritual of wearing new clothes. That's because when you are doing your prayer, you have to be pure, you have to take clean shower, you have to wash your hair, you have to be clean basically. So that's the motive. Secondly, about buying something, yes, there are some auspicious day where we go and buy some gold or some jewelry for the house and for the welfare of the house. So yes, sometimes some people prefer to buy their vehicles during the festival of Diwali. So they buy cars and scooters or a cycle, whatever they wish to during Diwali.
So yeah, it's like a kind of new coming, and it's also it's also the Hindu New Year. Many people consider it as a New Year, so it's like you need to do something like great on that during that period, so that the New Year is auspicious.
Yes, so it is the festival of Diwali, and the next day is a New Year. So yes, we celebrate it as a New Year, and we start all our good things. Sometimes our studies also. Parents like my mother used to tell me always like you should read at least one page on the New Year so that you study better in the all days of the year. Yeah.
And also, I remember in India, I think that if someone goes to India during Diwali, that's something that you cannot miss is firecrackers because it's really noisy. And so, why do Indians or Hindus light firecrackers during Diwali celebration?
Okay, so there are some firecrackers which make a lot of noise But before it was not a problem. The firecrackers used to be good in the quality, which kills the insects which were dangerous for the surroundings, for the air. But these days, yes, government is working hard to ban this kind of firecrackers, especially the noisy ones, which can bother the animals on the street or the people or the small kids who are newborn. So yes, government is working strictly on it, and I think people are trying to understand. Think it will be improved.
And this year, I think in Delhi, the pollution has reached very high levels. The firecrackers is also part of the create some fog, which is really bad for the environment. So the Indian government
Yes. So I think is instead of banning everything, they can come with crackers which are not of bad quality, which are of good quality, and they can reduce the quantity of the crackers, which will be like balanced. It will not spoil the people's rituals or tradition also, and it will maintain the quality also.
Because I think that one part of the issue is that there are so many Indians, because there are almost 1.4 billion now Indians. So if each Indian lights a firecracker, then you can imagine how much pollution it creates. Since 2020, we have been facing the pandemic, and so how did COVID-19 affect Diwali celebrations?
I'm sure the pollution will be lessened down because many people would have not purchased the firecrackers. But yes, it is being celebrated inside the families and houses. So we did our rituals, normal rituals like prayers and distributing food to the poor and helping poor with their life. And so, yeah, it has been celebrated. We prepared some food for the close family members and close friends. But we didn't frequently visit it, or we didn't went for the vacation during Diwali.
Yeah, because I think the gatherings were smaller. Because in India you have usually very big families, with the uncles, aunties, and cousins and so forth.
Yeah.
So that's why there are so huge weddings in India with more than 500 or 1,000 people, and sometimes much more.
That's right.
But for Diwali, then you really celebrate the festival with your maybe parents, and between parents and children, and avoid contact with the older people as well, so that you don't spread COVID-19.
Yes, that's right. In fact, there were many new artisans which came place. We developed their business for masks. We matched our mask with our saris, especially during the time of COVID, so that we can be saved from the virus, and we can be in the style also.
Nice. I didn't hear about it before. And what about you? How was your Diwali in France? Because now you are studying in France. So I think that most French people, and I would say Europeans, don't know anything about Diwali, because this is something we are not familiar with. So how was your Diwali?
So I celebrated my Diwali virtually on the screen with my family and friends. Frequently I was getting some calls from India. I got so many messages on my WhatsApp for wishing Diwali and New Year. I met some of my Indian friends here in France. I purchased some cake and patisserie in France at Rennes. I celebrated it with myself somewhat.
Yeah, that's also a great way. And anyway, because of the pandemic, the traveling part is restricted. So I think this has been the case of many other people in the world, and not only for Diwali, but for many celebrations. But I hope you enjoyed it this way.
Yes.
Different way.
A lot. I love being in France.
That's great to hear. And I would like to highlight that also we are talking about Diwali in general, but in India there are so many different regions. and so many distinctive traditions for commemorating Diwali, but also other celebrations. But overall, I would say that for Indians, Diwali is like the triumph of good over evil and light over darkness. That's why Indians like candles or lamps, and also wisdom over ignorance. That's why your mother recommends you to read, maybe. Is it
Yes,
correct?
that's right. It is like supporting the honesty. It is the victory of the good, and the all the evil energies get disappeared from our life, from our thoughts, and from our heart. So yes, it is the victory of good over evil.
So thank you very much, Khevna, for our podcast today. And I
Thank
hope we
you.
will
Thank you for
hear you
having me
again.
here, and thank you to call me.